In an editorial titled Mighty Fine Police Work, dropped on October 20 of this year, I argued that the United States government was committing murder when the military blew up several boats in the Caribbean Sea which were suspected of smuggling drugs. The government never bothered to explain why it could not interdict the boats and seize the cargo and arrest the smugglers. After all, that had always been the previous practice with drug smuggling. Then, on November 10th, I dropped an essay titled, First Thing We Do, Get Rid of All the Lawyers, which explored what happened to two survivors of one of the later attacks. Among other things, I commented that the Trump administration had gotten rid of the senior military attorneys called judge advocates, who could have stopped the attacks. Apparently, some hack lawyer made an excuse for the government, basically saying that if Trump calls it war, then the military can kill people. Just recently, we discovered that something else terrible happened to the boat that had carried 11 people early in the series of boat attacks. 2 people survived the first blast and were hanging onto wreckage in the water. The military then made a second pass and blew up the helpless, shipwrecked human beings, killed them dead. The Washington Post reported that the Secretary of Defense had previously given a verbal order to kill everybody on the boats, but Mr. Hegseth later denied giving such an order. We know that several weeks later, the Navy rescued survivors from a boat attack, but in this early attack, the military without mercy destroyed 2 defenseless victims. As it turns out, some of the senior military lawyers whom Hegseth had fired formed an anonymous association called Former JAGS Working Group. This group, on November 29, issued a statement about the second pass, which killed the last 2 survivors of the 11 persons on board the boat. Even if the initial attack were somehow considered a lawful act of war, killing those 2 helpless people clearly constituted murder and a war crime. It does not make any difference whether the 2 victims were enemy soldiers or sailors or criminals or whatever. Here is what the Former JAGS Working Group says. Under such circumstances, not only does international law prohibit targeting these survivors, but it also requires the attacking force to protect, rescue, and if applicable, treat them as prisoners of war. Violations of these obligations are war crimes, murder, or both. There are no other options. Close quote. Somebody gave the order to make a second pass to kill the helpless victims. That was obviously an unlawful order. If it is true that Secretary of Defense Hegseth, acting as the agent of the President of the United States, ordered the military to kill everybody, then all persons involved, from Trump down to the military pilot or drone operator, is guilty of murder. Here's the capper. If Trump is so determined to stop illegal drug trafficking that he blows up all these boats and kills all these people, how come he just recently pardoned a South American drug lord?